Women don't miss you the moment you walk away. First, it might seem like they do. Maybe they post a vague quote, send a random text, or leave a breadcrumb for you to follow. But that's not real missing. It's just the surface. The reflex of someone who's used to having your attention and isn't quite ready to let it go. Real missing doesn't happen in the immediate aftermath. It doesn't hit when emotions are still high, when pride is still fueling her actions, and the thrill of new distractions is still fresh. Real missing comes later, when the noise settles. When the temporary validation fades. When she's alone with her thoughts and realizes something is different. At first, she tells herself she's better off. She convinces herself that walking away was the right move, that you were the problem, that the next guy will be the answer. But then, slowly, the cracks start to show. The new attention doesn't feel the same. The conversations lack depth. The guy who replaced you doesn't carry the same presence. He's too eager. He's too available, too much of what she thought she wanted, but not what she actually needs. That's when it begins, the quiet questioning, the subconscious comparisons, the creeping doubt. She doesn't miss you because you're gone. She misses you because she can no longer access what you gave her. As long as you're still orbiting her world, liking her posts, responding to her messages, leaving the door cracked, she doesn't feel the loss. You're still there, just at a distance. But when you truly disappear, when you pull your energy back completely, that's when the absence becomes real. It's not about games or manipulation. It's about you choosing yourself, your peace, your growth. And that's what shakes her. Because now, for the first time, she has to face the truth. You're not an option anymore. This is when the illusion fades. The drama that once felt exciting now feels empty. The new guy who seemed so promising now feels shallow. In the space you left behind, it starts to echo. She might not admit it, she might not reach out, but she feels it, the weight of what she walked away from. Not because you were perfect, but because you were real. And realness, once it's gone, is the hardest thing to replace. As long as you're still lingering in her orbit, watching her Instagram stories, replying to her late-night texts, keeping that line of communication cracked open, she doesn't truly experience your absence. Your energy is still there, hovering at the edges of her consciousness like background noise she's grown accustomed to. She hasn't lost you. She's just put you on pause. This is why those half-hearted breadcrumbs never lead anywhere meaningful. She can still feel you there, still sense your presence, and so she never has to confront what life would actually be like without you in it. The moment you stop reacting, stop responding, stop feeding that connection, it's the moment everything changes. Silence isn't a tactic when it comes from a place of genuine detachment. It's not about playing hard to get or trying to make her jealous. It's simply the natural consequence of a man who's decided his peace matters more than her approval. When you truly walk away, not in anger, but in quiet resolve, that's when she starts to feel the shift. The texts go unanswered. The social media interactions stop. The energy you once poured into her suddenly evaporates. That's when the unsettling realization hits. You're not just giving her space, you're gone. This kind of silence carries weight. It's not the petulant silence of someone waiting to be chased. It's the calm, unshakable silence of a man who has moved on. Gets under her skin. She may tell herself, you're just being dramatic, that you'll come crawling back eventually, but somewhere deeper, she knows. This isn't a negotiation. This isn't a test. This is you choosing yourself, and that changes everything. When a woman is used to having access to you, your sudden unavailability creates a vacuum. She might not admit it out loud, but she'll feel it, the absence of your attention, the lack of your presence, the silence where your energy used to be. And that silence becomes louder than any argument, any plea, any desperate attempt to make her see your worth. Because now, for the first time, she has to face the truth. You were never hers to keep. You were a choice. And choices, once withdrawn, can't be taken for granted anymore. The storm begins when the distractions lose their shine. First, the new guy seems exciting. He showers her with attention, laughs at all her jokes, and makes her feel desired. But over time, something feels off. His eagerness starts to feel like neediness. His constant texting becomes suffocating instead of sweet. She finds herself comparing him to you without meaning to. Not because she wants to, but because her body remembers what real presence feels like. You didn't laugh too loudly at things that weren't funny. You didn't double text when she took hours to reply. You didn't mold yourself to fit her whims. You stood firm, and that unshakable energy left a mark. She told herself you were too distant, too intense, too much. But now, surrounded by men who reflect her chaos instead of grounding it, she starts to question her own narrative. The new guy mirrors her emotions perfectly when she's hot. He's hot. When she's cold, he panics. At first, it felt like connection. Now it just feels ... empty. Where's the tension? Where's the challenge? Where's the man who didn't bend just because she pushed? It hits her in quiet moments, when she's lying in bed staring at the ceiling, or when she catches a glimpse of something that reminds her of you. A song, a place, a phrase you used to say. The memories don't come with anger anymore, just a dull ache. She starts replaying conversations, wondering if she misread you. Maybe your distance wasn't indifference. Maybe it was depth. Maybe your intensity wasn't too much. Maybe it was exactly what she needed. The worst part? She can't even blame you. You didn't beg. You didn't lash out. You just ... left. And now she's stuck with the unsettling truth. The problem was never you. It was her inability to recognize something real until it was gone. The storm isn't about missing you, it's about realizing she let go of the only man who didn't just tell her she was worth more, but demanded she act like it. The realization doesn't come in one dramatic moment. It seeps in slowly like water through cracks in a dam. At first, she convinces herself she's fine. She'll laugh with friends, post carefully curated snapshots of her new life, and tell anyone who asks that she's happier now. But then something small triggers a memory. A song you both liked comes on at a coffee shop. She passes by a restaurant you used to go to, or someone innocently asks asterisk, "Hey, whatever happened to that guy you were seeing?" She brushes it off with a casual asterisk, "Oh, we just didn't work out." Asterisk, but the question lingers in the air like smoke. Late at night, when the distractions fade, her mind starts replaying moments she thought she'd forgotten. The way you listened, really listened, when she talked about her dreams. How you didn't flinch when she tested you with some petty argument, just stayed calm, and called her out with that quiet smirk. The time she showed up, stressed and scattered, and instead of feeding her chaos, you grounded her without even trying. At the time, she mistook your steadiness for indifference. Now, she wonders if it was strength she wasn't ready to recognize. She checks your social media, not because she wants to admit she's looking, but because she needs to know. Asterisk, is he hurting like I am? Does he even care? It's but your profiles tell. Her nothing. No sad quotes, no vague rants, just quiet updates about your life moving forward. It stings more than any angry post could. You're not sitting around waiting. You're not proving anything to anyone. You're just... And somehow, that ordinary contentment is the loudest statement of all. The comparisons creep in against her will. The new guy texts her good morning every day without fail, but it feels robotic, like he's following a script. He agrees with everything she says, and she realizes with a start that you never did that. You pushed back, challenged her, made her think. At the time, it annoyed her. Now, she misses it. Misses you. Not the idealized version she's built up in her head, but the real youth, the one who didn't play games, but didn't play along either. Here's the cruel twist. She can't even blame you for leaving. You didn't storm off in a tantrum or beg for another chance. You just stepped away, gracefully, finally, and that's what haunts her. 'Cause now she has to face the truth. She didn't lose you. She let you go. And the worst part, you let her. The missing isn't about wanting you back. It's about the sinking understanding that she had something rare and called it ordinary. That she mistook depth for distance, strength for stubbornness. And now, surrounded by people who reflect her, but don't really see her, she starts to wonder, asterisk, was I the problem all along? Asterisk, she won't reach out. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But in those unguarded moments when she's alone in her car, or scrolling through old photos, Or lying next to someone new who doesn't make her feel the way you did. She whisper it to the dark. Asterisk. I didn't know what I had until it was gone. Asterisk. And for the first time. She truly understands what that means. The final shift happens when she realizes your silence isn't a tactic, it's a conclusion. At first, she tells herself, you'll eventually crack. She waits for the late night. I miss you text, the drunk call, the moment of weakness where you come crawling back, just like all the others did. But it never comes. Weeks pass, then months. Your absence isn't loud or dramatic. It's just absolute. And that's what unsettles her most. It's because men don't walk away like this. It's not really. Not the good ones. They fight, they beg, they linger. But you just vanished. She starts noticing the void in unexpected ways. The new guy texts constantly, but his words feel hollow compared to your weighted silences that used to speak volumes. Her friends ask why she's been so quiet lately. She can't explain that she's been haunted by the ghost of a man who didn't just love her, he understood her. That's the cruelest part. You saw through her games, her defenses, her carefully constructed chaos, and loved her anyway. But you loved yourself enough to walk when she refused to do better. One night, she drunkenly scrolled through your old messages. Not the flirty ones, or the fights, the ordinary ones. The time you talked her through a bad day without trying to fix it. The way you remembered her offhand comment about hating lilies and showed up with tulips instead. How you'd pause mid-argument to ask if she'd eaten because you knew she got irrational when hungry. These weren't grand gestures. They were quiet acts of devotion she took for granted. Now she's drowning in a sea of men who perform love but don't practice it. Here's the truth. She can't escape. Your silence taught her more about love than your presence ever did. In walking away without dramatics, you showed her what real boundaries look like. In refusing to chase, you proved your worth wasn't negotiable. And in moving on peacefully, you've demonstrated a strength she's never encountered before, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself. She'll try to fill the space with other people, other distractions. But eventually, she'll catch herself staring at her phone at 2 a.m., thumb hovering over your contact, realizing with terrifying clarity that you're not thinking about her at all. It's when it truly hits. This isn't a breakup. It's an evolution. You've become the man she needed all along, just not for her anymore. The irony, she didn't lose you when you left. She lost you months earlier when she stopped valuing what you offered. Your final gift was letting her go without a fight, because in that release, you forced her to grow. And one day when she's finally ready to love properly, she'll think of you not with regret, but with gratitude for the man who loved her enough to walk away. By then, of course, you'll be long gone. Not bitter, not waiting. Just free. And that's the lesson that will stay with her forever. Real love doesn't cling. It liberates. Even especially when it means liberating yourself.